Nope, coffee is not enough. Yeah, that's good. To label a band's work as Christian means that topic matters more than genre or style. And if that's true, then why do we organize by genre at all? On Spotify, should I be able to search for songs based on what the song talks about instead of what the song sounds like? Because right now on Spotify or any other music streaming platform, I can look through all the genres and there will be Christian and gospel, which are two different things, but that is beside the point. We'll get to that at another time. And even if I go to a CD store or vinyl, I can look and there will be the rock section, pop section, metal section, country, hip hop, maybe a few others. And then there at the end will be Christian and gospel. Now let's say that you, even though you are not a mom looking for music for the whole family, you decide to look through the Christian and gospel section. In that section, you will find music that sounds like this. Now revealed in you are Christ. Or maybe it sounds like this. This. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. This. Enough wishing the world's out of commission. Ain't no superstition, no need to make your own prediction. And then you might find something like this. Watch out, brother, for that long black train. That's a really wide variety of types of music, right? Wrong. Those are all the same genre. They're all Christian and gospel. Now, before I get too far, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My parents were in ministry for the first 18 years of my life. I have been a part of many, many different denominations of churches and different church locations and sizes and all kinds of stuff. But the church I grew up in was very charismatic and conservative. Luckily, during that time, my parents were actually youth pastors, and let me tell you, the early 2000s was the best time for youth group soundtracks. We had some great music. And so pretty early on, I was actually introduced to some decently heavy stuff. Like to give you an idea, when I was 8, instead of having a backpack, I had a messenger bag at school. And on that messenger bag that I got from Hot Topic, it said Norma Jean. If you don't know who Norma Jean is, this is them. My dad introduced me very early on to punk and heavy music, and my mom has always been a classic rock nut. She loves anything from the 70s, basically. But enough about me. Growing up, I had a lot of friends who were also Christian, of course. Grew up in the South. And they were Christian of varying extremes. And a lot of them still listened to secular music. But if they found out that an artist from the secular realm was Christian, oh man, they were going to listen to so much more of their stuff. They were going to divulge themselves into those lyrics. That brings me to my first point, which is the questionable reasoning for the genre. So the whole reason we have a dedicated genre to Christianity-focused songs is because of the Jesus movement in the late 60s. Christians decided that we needed our own sect of music because they saw kind of the hippie movement and they thought that the youth were getting away from them. And I honestly think they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot with that. You know how when an industry is trying to market themselves for a specific group, and to appeal to that group, they start using the language of that group. They start using those slang words and stuff like that, and it's painfully apparent what they're trying to do, and it's so obvious that it's fake. Christians are kind of the worst about that. And also, if your goal is to reach people outside of your circle with a certain message, then taking all of the music that even kind of preaches that message and putting it under an umbrella labeled after your group isn't going to help it reach anybody outside of your circle. It's actually just going to keep it away from anybody who's not looking for it. Plus, you're just holding back anyone who writes about more than just that topic, which brings me to my next point. That is the effect it has on artists. Many of my favorite bands growing up, and bands that I still love today, were and are considered crossover artists, meaning that they were Christian artists that managed to cross over and appeal to mainstream circles. Bands like Relient K, Under Oath, POD, MXPX, a lot of bands like that. Most of the time in alternative or rock areas. But something I learned very early on was that when someone asks you who your favorite band is, and you reply Relient K, you get one of two responses almost every time. Oh, aren't they a Christian band? Oh, you listen to Christian music? And both of those responses make me so angry. Because the first response means that people are allowing the religion of band members to deter them from listening to that band's music. And that's it. And I know, what about the songs that preach about Jesus? Well, in Relient K's case, as well as most crossover artists, the Jesus-y songs are usually not very explicit and pretty far apart. Relient K has lots of songs that are about relationships, mental health, mistakes made as a teenager, one-night stands, Thundercats, like all kinds of random stuff. I mean, sure, I listen to All American Rejects or Yellow Card or any 2000s pop punk band, or hell, early 2010s indie band, but Relient K is Christian. I won't listen to them. Also, and I think... No, I know this makes me more angry. With the other response, that means that people are judging and listening to music based solely on the fact of if the members, or at least the person writing a specific song's beliefs, match theirs, which that is ridiculous and lazy. It's keeping you from actually thinking about what you're hearing and just trusting the fact that, oh, they're a Christian band. You know, as long as they don't cuss or talk about sex and drugs, I'll listen to it. You know, it's just kind of lazy. Let's look at it from a different angle. Another one of my favorite bands right now is Sure Sure. Great band. If I were to suggest them to somebody, the most likely their response would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll listen to them. But if I suggested it to someone like the person who gave us the second response, it would be followed up with the question, are they a Christian band? And the answer, being no, would keep them from listening to them. Which is... oh, it's so bad. Because it's based solely on the fact of if they consider themselves a Christian band. So on both sides of this way of defining these bands, you've got people keeping themselves from listening to this music purely based on the beliefs of members and nothing to do with what the music actually sounds like. Nothing at all to do with the sound of this music. And that's so sad. That is terrible. And I know what you're thinking. Ethan, isn't it like a personal choice to choose what you will or won't listen to? Like, isn't that up to you? And yes, but not entirely. Let's say you listen to one of these bands. You hear a couple songs and you're like, oh, I really like this sound. I want to find more bands that sound like this. So let's use Relient K as the example. You go to your vinyl or CD store and you go to the Christian and gospel section. We've already covered that you will find things that sound like this, or this, or this. How are you supposed to know what actually sounds similar? So now you think, that's fine, I'll just look them up on Spotify and see what Spotify suggests that I listen to. Let's just pull up Relient K on Spotify, shall we? What do they suggest? Hawk Nelson, Switchfoot. Okay, I'll give you those. They're kind of similar. Then you get things like Cutlass, Sanctus Real, DC Talk, OC Supertones. Sure, yeah, they came from the same area of the early 2000s because of Christian music, but they don't sound the same. OC Supertones is a ska band, and they're of those last four, they're probably the most similar to Relient K. So then you're like, okay, I have other ways of finding this. So you go on AllMusic, you search Relient K. Oh god. You go on Relient K. Similar to, it suggests Switchfoot yet again. They're always going to be put next to each other. Then you get things like 1,000 Foot Crutch, Casting Crowns, Mercy Me, 10th Avenue North. These bands sound nothing like Relient K. Nothing like Relient K. Relient K? Mercy Me. Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. What? Oh gosh. So there is my biggest problem with Christian music as a label. You've got these bands that are playing entirely different genres, appealing to entirely different groups, but you're trying to put them on the same group. And what's even worse than that isn't even what you're doing to the artists themselves, I don't think. I think what's even worse than that is what it does to the Christian group, because it has these people think, oh, I can only listen to Christian artists. I grew up around that a ton. I only listen to Christian music. I won't listen to non-Christian music. If they don't play it on K-Love, it is not Christian music. It is not what God wants me to hear. Here's an example. I was at work typing up my notes for this. And my coworker saw it and was like, oh, what are you typing? And I explained the video to her what my point was. And she replied with, what would you call it? What do you mean, what would you call it? These artists are making music based off of what they've been listening to. Let's go back to that AllMusic page for Relient K. So you've got things like Casting Crowns and Mercy Me and 10th Avenue North and TFK on there, similar to. But then you go to Influenced by Blink-182, NoFX, Ben Folds, Green Day, MXPX, Weezer, Minor Threat, The Replacements, Dead Milkmen. Do you notice something there? MXPX often gets put into the Christian band subgenre, but those other bands? No. There's so many bands on both sides of this that I grew up listening to because my parents were also music junkies. They also listened to a variety of sounds. And so I got these amazing bands that were labeled as Christian who weren't able to really get out their awesome product because it has that Christian label on it. But then also on the opposite side, there's so much amazing music out there. I don't have to tell you that. There's so much amazing music out there that these people are not taking in purely because it isn't Christian. That is infuriating. As someone who loves to give people new music and show people sounds that they've never heard before, that they would most likely love, that it's heartbreaking. It really is. Music was made to enjoy. Art was made to enjoy. And people on both sides of this aren't. Because of one label that means nothing. It's infuriating. It really is. I, and here's the thing that's even worse is when these bands are labeled as Christian artists, the CCM community will just take them in, pull them in, and they're like, yes, this is ours. We love this. But the minute that those bands either try to step out of that circle or they're interviewed and they say, we don't really consider ourselves a Christian band, we're just an artist, they get attacked. Let me read you some examples of comments that I've found. So these comments are all from one video where Lecrae said that he doesn't consider himself a Christian rapper. He's just a rapper, he says. Sounds like he's denying God because any true Christian wouldn't deny who they're trying to glorify. As a Lecrae fan since '09, I understand the concern, but if we are true believers, we should pray that our brother is not led astray. So sad. His music literally switched me from worldly rap, frowny face. Hearing some of his new stuff, my heart hurts for him. Another fallen soldier. Pray for him. Lecrae thinks his mislabeling would discredit his artistry. We understand, but God didn't say it's about you, Lecrae. You have a calling. Fulfill it. Here's what makes me hurt for Lecrae and so angry at these people. The video was titled, and in the video, Lecrae is asked about being a Christian rapper, and he literally says,
you know, I don't call myself that. I don't go by any of those, like, you know, genre titles or whatever.
You're a musician.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So,
you're an artist.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's all he says. That is the only time they cover it. So these people obviously didn't watch the entire video because it's nothing about that. They just read that title. This makes me so angry. It's almost like when you start this, now you have to make your decision. Am I a Christian artist or not? Am I only going to write songs about God and Jesus? About how his love is like water? He's a good father? Or am I just expressing myself through art? Expressing my personal beliefs? Expressing my life? My struggles? My strengths? Whatever those have to do with. It's just art. I know that a lot of you who watch this probably have an opinion on this, on either side of it. Tell me what your opinion is. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why you agree. Tell me what a utopian world of music would look like. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time. Ever since I started making music YouTube videos, this is one of the topics I knew I wanted to cover. I just was waiting for a right time, and I couldn't get this out of my head this week, so that's what I did. Won't be the last time I talk about it, I'm sure. But so thank you for listening to it this far. I hope you enjoy hearing my opinion on music. If you want to check out some of my other less controversial videos, please check out my channel. I only do videos on music, and I just try to help people find new music. I try to help them see interesting things in music that maybe they didn't see before, and just enjoy the world of music as much as I do. Because there's a lot of great sounds out there that are from lots of different subgenres and styles and areas and worlds. So please go out, listen to something new.